let's start the live presentations. So we will start with our guest Pooja Sahny. So she's a goldsmith and jewelry designer by trade. She studied and worked in the heart of the Diamond District in Antwerp, Belgium. She's now the director of Sierra Consultancy, the official 3DESIGN jewelry software reseller and support provider for the UK, Ireland, and India. Pooja says that discovering 3DESIGN software changed her relationship with CAD. So coming from a jewelry background and having worked at the bench, she really understands how overwhelming it can be to enter the world of CAD. She says she chose to work with 3DESIGN because the software worked the way she would build a creation at the bench. Now Pooja has more than 12 years working with 3DESIGN, and we are very honored that she accepted to share her knowledge and her experience during this 3DESIGN digital event.
Hi, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I hope you can all hear me. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Pooja Sahny. I will be introducing you to 3DESIGN CAD software. To get you started, it's important to know that 3DESIGN is a parametric software. This means that the software saves each parameter of your design in the history tree. This parameter can then be modified at any stage of the design process without you having to start from scratch. I'll be showing you the benefit of creating links in 3DESIGN. The more links you create, the more parametric your design becomes. I will also be showing you one of my favorite tools, the technical drawing. Now let's get into it. So the first thing we're going to do is show you the timer. Now you've got a timer at the top right-hand corner. If you pause it, you can go make yourself a cup of coffee or take a phone call, and if you click on it again, it will resume. To restart it, you just double click on it. Now in the middle of your screen, you've got the ability to excuse me, create a new piece, open your previous documents, which are below. You've got 6 previous documents, and then you've got the welcome page, which Sandrine actually mentioned slightly to you today. So when you click on the welcome page in 3DESIGN, you are able to see your graphic settings, tutorials, join the forum, go to the support facility as well. So you've got a number of videos over there you can go through. So what we're going to do is we're going to get started and we're going to go into making a new piece. So what we're going to do today is create a halo. So to give you an overview of 3DESIGN, when you open up a file, your screen is divided into three. You've got your tools, your work area, and your history tree. And your history tree is where everything is saved. So you've got your solid module, you've got your jeweler's bench, and you've got your sketch as well ability. Now Maxime will be taking you through the modeling module, which is 3Shaper, and he will also be showing you the rendering, which is deep image. So within solids, you have your standard solid shapes. You have things like a cone, a sphere. So whenever things pop up, when you linger over it, it will actually pop up and tell you what it is. Okay, at any point you can sketch, and when you sketch, you need a curve to construct things. So construct means you're giving it some sort of thickness, you're giving it some sort of depth. You've got curve sweeping, you've got loft. These are just a few tools. Now under position, you have the ability to move, rotate, scale, and lay objects on top of each other as well. Under special effects, the most common tool you're going to use is called Boolean operation. And a Boolean operation, you tend to like add things together or subtract. When you add, it's as though you're soldering at the workbench. And if you are going to be subtracting, it's as though you're drilling or filing away material. You have set material, which changes color, and you have the ability to put material as well. So deform is a possibility as well. You can bend, twist. Measure is very important. You can get the caliper, weights, and precise measurements as well. Now the weight will be according to the material that you have selected. Under support, we have draft kit. So draft kit is if you are someone who tends to do perspective drawing, you can import that in. You can import that in as a JPEG or a PNG. And if you aren't someone who tends to perspective draw, you can always go over to image in plane, and image in plane, you can put in photos or sketches as well. Now we're going to go to the jeweler's bench. Within the jeweler's bench, different ways of making rings. You've got your ring size there. You've got signet ring. If you want a different type of signet ring, you've got advanced ring, which is another possibility. Then we've got bypass ring, which is like a crossover ring. Then cathedral as well, cathedral ring. Under stone creation, we have our standard stones in a library. If there is a stone we do not have, you can of course go on and create your own with custom stone builder. Then under jeweling, gemstone setting, and prongs, these are just different ways of setting your stones. You've got pavé, you've got channel for round stones, you've got baguettes, you've got, if you want to put different types of stones next to each other, then you've got wire, you've got cluster settings as well, you've got prong setting, bezel setting, micro setting, or what's called invisible setting as well. And then under reporting, you have the ability to put in your material cost, your stone cost, your quotation, which means you can put your margin in there as well. You can merge them all together and make a final report, which is something I'll be showing you later. And then under technical drawing, if you're someone who doesn't tend to do perspective drawing, so that's my favorite tool, you can actually use technical drawing and put in different views of your piece together. Okay, so now what we're going to do is, like I said, we're going to create a halo. And the best thing to do is to get started is to take a stone. So under stone creation, stone. Now when you select a tool, your properties pop up open. Now we're going to look at this from our top view. It's very, very important that you're looking at this throughout. And you have the ability under properties to change the material. Okay, so if you don't want a peridot, click on the hand. And when you click on the hand, your database opens up. So this is your material database. You've got precious metals, different alloys to choose from. You've got platinum, you've got silver, You've got precious stones, ornamental stones. We've also got plastics. We've got Swarovski. We've got marbles. Swarovski's got some really nice colors. Just taking you through a few of them. Now what I'm going to do is I'm quite happy with the peridot, so that's what I'm going to stick to. The shape, I'm going to guide you through the different shapes we have. These are the standard shapes. So we've got round, marquise, oval, pear, baguette, cushion. For this exercise, we are going to choose a marquise actually. So let's choose a marquise and we are going to put in our dimensions. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in so we can take a closer look. Now, you can keep the ratio or you can just type in what you want. So right now I'm going to say I want a 5 mil wide stone and it takes it to 10.6. Okay, look at it from every view, very important. So right now it's a top view. You can also look at your stone from other views, and it's important because you've got other tabs. So within 3Design, you sometimes have other functions. You can change the cut of your stone and you can put more parameters in there as well. So right now, it is presently, I'm looking at it from the front view, or you can look at it from the side view. Okay, going back to the front view, you can choose a diamond cut, a gem cut, or a princess cut as well. So a gem cut means it's a fatter stone. Princess cut, you've got a cabochon, and you've got a briolette. If you actually have the dimensions of your stone, you can type them all in there, so that's really good to know as well. And if you have further facets or you have diamond information, you can always put that in there as well. Okay, so we're going to go back to shape. I'm happy with that. Yes, marquise, a 5 by 10, give or take. Yes. Now you can validate, which means yes, the green tick means yes, you're going to go ahead. Red cross means no, you don't want that. And then you've got, right next to it, you've got the eye, which is the preview button. So you can always see what this will look like. So we're just going to take a quick look. And yes, I'm happy from all the views. Validate. Okay, so already we've got our stone in there. And you can see in the history tree, it's already starting to build. So very, very important. You keep looking at your history tree to see what's going on. Now what I need to do is I need to create my actual halo that goes around my stone. So I'm going to go to sketch and I'm going to sketch out a profile. So to do this, I'm going to take 2 rectangles. Don't worry, it's very random, but we're going to fix it up. So I'm going to trim away what I don't need. Okay. So just clicking away what I don't need and validate. Okay. Now I'm going to join this all up to make it one piece. And now click on the actual 2 points at the top. And because it's too high, I'm going to bring it down. And it's too bulky. So I'm just going to tweak it a little bit here and there. This is my profile for my halo, by the way. And bring it across, so make it a bit narrower. Okay, and now I'm going to exit sketch. So as you can see, my halo is over, my profile is over there. I'm just going to rename it. Now it's important to rename items because if you are going to be opening this up, so the point of the history tree is it's always there. The history is always there. So if you open up this file 10 years later, it's still there. So you know what you used and where everything is in your history tree. Now, in order to actually make this into a solid, I'm going to just look at it from another view and I'm going to go to curve sweeping. So under curve sweeping, you've got to put in your path, you've got to put in your section, and you can change the orientation of the section. Okay, very important. So you can change the material as well at any point. We've got 18 karat white gold. I'm happy with that. All I need to do is put in my path. Now my stone is a shape and is a curve, and that's going to be my path. So I'm going to click on the hand, click on my curve, on my stone. Look at it from the top view, make sure arrows are going around it. Perfect. Now I'm going to go to section. Okay, and the section is what I've drawn. Now you can put in your section. So within 3DESIGN, windows pop open, little boxes. So wherever there's a box, it means it's an empty box, it's waiting for information. So the first box is your section, and then you've got control point. So what is our section? The section is the halo profile that we drew. You can select it either from your sketch or from your history tree. Okay, so I've selected it, and now you can see it's going around my actual stone. However, it looks upside down, so we can change the orientation. Okay, so we're going to flip it around to 180. Okay, it's got the same slant as it does in our sketch. Perfect. And now I'm going to drop it to the bottom, and I'm going to just bring it out so it actually goes outside of our stone. Preview, let me see how it looks. Okay, we're looking at it from the top view, remember that. And now we're going to just validate it. We're going to rename it and then validate. So it's called Halo. Okay, as you can see in our history tree built up, it's a halo. But now if I look at it, it looks kind of bulky. It's not my favorite thing. I want something a little smoother, okay? A lot refined. So what we're going to do is we are going to make a second path for our halo. Okay, so it will be between two paths. So I'm going to take my stone and under curves, modify curves, and I'm going to offset it. So I'm going to offset my stone by 2 mil. I'm going to offset it so it's sharp, keeping it straight, and offset on outside, so it's the right side. Okay, rename it. Halo outer path, perfect, and validate. Okay, so now I'm going to go back into my halo, so the curve sweeping that I did, double click it, opens up the properties. I'm going to add my second path in there, click on the hand, and click on the halo outer path. Okay, preview it. Okay, looks a lot nicer. Now in my other view, I'm going to take a look, because I'm looking at it going, let's drop it to the top. Perfect, that's exactly what I need. Okay, so great, we've done our first part, our first bits. If you want to know how you created your halo, everything's written in your history tree. You used your stone, you used your halo outer path, and you also used your halo profile. Brilliant. Now what we're going to do is we have to of course create the stones that go around our halo now. So let's go back, and we are going to actually create like a path now for our halo. So I'm going to offset the outer path for my stones, offset it, let's say 0.75. Okay, we are going to keep it, it looks like it's in the middle, so I'm happy with that. We are going to change it to keep it straight, and it's the right direction, so we're happy with that. All we need to do is now change it, rename it, and validate. Okay, brilliant. So once again in our history tree. Now I'm just going to clean up the work area just a little bit, which means I'm just going to hide things away. Doesn't mean I'm deleting anything, it just means I'm cleaning it up. Now this path that we just have for our stones, I need it to snap to our halo, so the software knows where the stones are going to run. So I'm going to project it. I'm going to go to curve projection. Our curve to project, you need to add it. It's what I just created, the halo stones. Okay, our support object is the halo. Perfect. Preview it now, make sure it snaps. Brilliant, it's in the middle. And all we need to do is now rename it and validate. Okay, so far it's looking good. I'm happy with this. Just clean up the work area a little bit. Okay. Now, importance, we need to, of course, create our stones. So we need to go to the jeweler's bench, stone creation, stone. We are going to change the material because we want diamonds to go around this pendant, around the halo. So precious stones, diamond, keeping it a round stone. changing the diameter to 1.3. So give or take a 1 pointer. Okay, and validate. Now, in order to put our stones on our actual halo, we need to do a sort of duplication. Now, there are lots of ways to do it. I'm using graduated duplication. Okay, so under duplicate, graduated duplication. Two questions here. What is your path and what is your object to duplicate? So our path is what we have snapped or projected onto our halo. Perfect. And now the object to duplicate, click on the plus sign, is our halo stones. And if we take a look, it's nice and symmetric. Okay, so it's at the top. We've got our one stone at the top, one stone at the bottom, one at the left, and one at the right. Always make sure it's nice and symmetrical. Okay, rename our item again. And validate. Brilliant. Now, if we take a look, we need to create some sort of light underneath our halo stones, because otherwise it's too dark, it won't shine. So we're going to create some cutters. So jeweler's bench, we've got under gemstone cutter, we have multi-cutters. Okay, so I need to add my stones in here. So click on the plus sign, click on your stone, and automatically it creates these cutters for you. Okay, so you can see it's going through, it's going to create some holes at the bottom. So I'm going to change the material. When I create a cutter, I tend to do a different material than my piece. So I'm going to change it to yellow gold. Okay, let's look at it again. Okay, I'm quite happy. Now we can change the cutter. We can make it longer. We can make it wider as well. And we can make it shorter. So they're a little bit too long. Okay, I'm happy with that, and validate. Okay, so we've got our cutters. Now what we have to do is we have to do subtraction. So as I mentioned earlier, we need to do a Boolean operation, which is going to be a very common tool to use. So Boolean operation. Now when you do subtraction, very important, the first object to add is what we are keeping, and to make sure the operation is on subtract. So object to manipulate, click on the plus sign, and either in your work area or in your history tree, go over to the halo. Perfect. And then click on the plus sign again and make sure your cutters are in there. They need to be two things when you are subtracting. And rename it and validate. Perfect. Okay, so now you can see it's got holes at the bottom. Brilliant. Okay, it's going to be a lot lighter, a lot nicer, and then your setter knows where the stones go as well. Now what we're going to do is we've done the top part of our halo. We now need to create a bottom half of our halo. Okay, number of ways to do it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my actual halo path, the outer path, and I'm just going to drop it down a little bit. I'm going to go to move rotate scale, and I'm going to drop it down to more or less the bottom of that halo, the top of the halo. And I'm going to call it curve for bottom halo and validate. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this curve and I'm going to create a super dome. So I'm going to create like a nice little rounded thing for it. And hide. Okay, so under construct we have superdome, and we are going to select it. Now it's going upwards, we need it to go downwards because we want it to be the bottom part. So I'm going to type in -2, so it's about 2 mil, and then change the color so it all matches, and it's white gold. and call it bottom halo. Perfect. Okay. Now I'm looking at it and it's looking nice. However, if you actually hide, if you take a look at your halo and you hide it, it's going to be, the bottom halo is a solid. So what we need to do is we need to hollow it out. It's too heavy. It's not great for manufacturing. So take it, select it, and we're going to go over to special effects and we are going to go to shell. Under shell, what is your object? So click on the hand, click on your bottom halo. And now it says, what is the thickness of this? So we're going to change it to 0.8 because that's a good thickness to have, and validate. Okay, so now you can see it's slightly hollowed out. I'm going to just rename. I like to rename. And it will come in handy. It's a really good thing to be doing. Okay, brilliant. Now, I'm looking at it and you see there's no light under our main stone, our main halo center stone. So what we need to do is we need to create a cutter at the bottom again, and we need to make it the same shape as our center stone. So under construct, I'm actually going to use my stone as a cutter. And we need the cutter to, of course, be going downwards. And I'm going to say distance 7 mil. Change it to a different color because it is a cutter. And validate. So now if we take a look, next thing we need to do is subtract it. So it's going to be a Boolean operation we need to do. So object we are keeping, add the bottom halo. And the next object is our cutter. And make sure it is on subtract. Brilliant. Okay, so now you can see it's looking nice. It's a lot lighter. Rename it. Make sure you are renaming things. Perfect. So let's bring our stones back. And there we go. We're nearly done. That's looking really good. I'm happy. So we're going to take the weight of this now. So under measure, we have weight. Add the two of them in there and validate. So it is the top of it is 0.7 and the bottom is 0.8. So it gives you an idea. It's quite a nice and light halo. Okay, and this is of course according to 18 karat white gold. Let's take a look, and let's say now we want to take a bit of a measurement. You want to know how thick that wall is at the top for our setting. Okay, so we are going to say from that point over there to that point, how much is it over there, the thickness? Okay, 0.66, and we're going to add millimeters. Okay, and you can hide. You can keep hiding things. You can keep everything in your history tree and keep hiding things. But try to avoid deleting. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Happy with that. What we're going to do is we're going to do a technical drawing. So that's my favorite function. So under reporting, technical drawing. And it brings it in as your front view. Okay, so you can choose it as a wireframe, gray image, or as a material. And I'm just going to keep it nice. So it looks like you're sketching it out. Now I'm going to add my halo stones and my actual center stone. Everything is in there. I'm happy. Just going to move it aside because I'm going to add more views. So let's add another view. Going to just lift that up a little bit and place it more in the center. Perfect. Add another view again. And this time I want to see under the underside of it. So I'm going to change the setting. And it's the bottom view. Okay, make sure you know what the scale is. It is scale 4:1. And one last view I'm going to add in. Okay, so it aligns with each other. Perfect. And now I'm going to change the orientation to the front view. So you can actually see from all 4 views now. Perfect. We can save it. Save it as, you can save it as a PDF. So I'm going to call it Halo 1. Okay, close it off and validate. Okay, so we are going to show you, of course, this is just one thing we can do. And now we are going to show you takes out the gallery at the very bottom. So here is where you can pull things out. We already have some built-in things. You can add things yourself as well. So you can build your little portfolio up over here, your own little catalog. So you've got a number of things. You've got chains, you've got symbols, loads of nice things in there. I've created my own folder, and within my own folder, I have my own things as well. So I'm going to make this into a pendant. So I'm going to take a necklace bail out. Okay. And then I'm going to go to chain, and I want to make this look like it's actually a finished item for a client, and validate. Now I'm going to pull my gallery down. Okay. Now we're just going to, of course, resize things. Rename and resize. So let's call that chain. Okay, now resize it and let's move it across. Okay, now look at it from side view, of course, very important. Let's see that it makes sure it goes inside our halo. Perfect. And validate. Now we have to do the same with the chain. Just move it down. Let's look at it again from the top view, and I'm going to pull it up a bit. Perfect. And validate. Okay. Excuse me. So clearly you can see it's not the same color. We're going to change it to yellow, from white gold, yellow gold to white gold. With set material, double click on white gold. Excuse me. And validate. Okay, pretty happy with that. Now rename. Sorry. Now it's saving in the background. Give me a sec. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I want to create information, another technical drawing. I'm going to bring out my logo. You can always save your logo in there. And under technical drawing, we have in our gallery, we have an A4. Okay, bring that down. Now I'm going to just rename it so I know that the imported element is my logo. Perfect. And that is our technical drawing A4, which has further information. So I'm going to tweak it all. Okay, we're going to change the language to English, so US. You have the possibility of putting in your CAD formats. So it is a VTF, a 3DESIGN file always saves as a VTF file. If you have a 3D printer or need it for manufacturing, it is an STL. And you also have other formats, of course. So I'm going to add in my company logo, and I'm going to remove the 3DESIGN one. Okay, so you can just switch things around. Now let's add in some information. And I'm going to call it Halo. Put in the client's name. And now I'm going to say it's available in gold and in platinum. My company information. Okay, let's go further down. Let's see what else we can do. Today's date, of course, we're going to change that to 15/11/2021. Scale, it was 4:1. Designer is Pooja. Okay, happy with that. Validate. So now all this information we've just done, we're going to add it into our previous technical drawing. So I'm going to double click on technical drawing. And now go to type of object, add a vector. And it's another object that I'm adding. It's an object list and technical drawing. So there you go. You can have it with further information in there. Save it. And I'm going to call it Halo 2 this time. Perfect, and validate. Okay. So far, so good. I'm just going to hide things a little bit. So remember, we've done our first part, which is with on a chain. So if I show you, we've done the first one. Now we're going to go on and do our second one. So we're going to create this into an actual ring. Went blank for a sec. So I've created a shank already. So this is what's really great. You can start to build up your own catalog here. So I've drawn a band, an open band, which I call band cut. You can save it with history, or you can choose not to. I've saved this one with history. Okay, so I'm going to look at it from the front view. And now you can see your stone and your setting is still at the bottom, still in the center, and your ring is over there. So we need to raise our stone up, and we need to match it so it's at the top of our ring. Okay, so the way to do that is go into stone, and under stone, when you open up the properties, you have a choice of choosing your plane. Okay, so it's on OXY, which is in the center. Now, if you take a look at our actual ring, we've got a little plane at the top. So I'm going to just add it there and validate. Now, when I do that, your piece is turned red. Your piece is turned red because the software knows you've made a change. So I've lifted my stone up, and now the entire setting is going to be moved up. Okay, so it's very important. So this all is happening because I've created links. I linked everything to my stone, so that means everything to do with the setting will modify as well. Okay, so there you go. It's lifted up and it's looking nice. Okay. Now, let's just say the client wants something else, so we're going to change it from a peridot to a tourmaline, okay, and we're going to change the shape to an oval. So we're making quite a bit smaller now, so it's going to be it's going to be 4x6. Preview it. You can tell it's quite a bit smaller. Now, once again, your piece is turned red, your settings turned red because the software is aware you've made a change. So now that stone needs to fit our setting, or the setting needs to fit the stone. So in order to do that, you need to go over to your history tree and recompute. And everything will modify and fit nicely together. The only thing we'll have to check is make sure that our stones are fitting well. And I'm looking at it and it's nice and symmetrical, so I'm quite happy. Yeah, the only thing we could do is, of course, drop the bottom halo a little bit or make it longer. And we can also raise our actual shank up a little bit as well. So I'm going to do that. I'm just going to raise it up so it goes higher to the top. So it's under ring outline. Just raise it up over there. Yeah, that's about right. And validate. And now recompute. Okay. Front view, let's take a look. Yeah, not thrilled with that. So what you can do with the bottom halo, you can always put in a pattern if you want, or you can draw out your own. Now I've drawn out one previously. Okay, and I've drawn it with a pattern in there, so just drag drop it into our work area. Okay, yeah, so there you go. It's a little bit, I mean, all you need to do now would be just to chop away that bottom material of our ring, but otherwise that looks quite nice. That fits together quite well. Okay, and as you can see, the weight has updated as well. So it's a bit lighter. Well, it has to be because it's quite a bit smaller. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we are going to take a look and show you what a full technical report could look like. Okay, so full reporting. You can put in your material costs, as I mentioned, and your stone costs. You just need to put in what the pricing is per gram. And then it'll tell you how many stones you have, how many sizes. And it will, if you have lots and lots of stone sizes, it will color coordinate and tell you. So it's great, especially for your setter, to give them a layout of where everything goes. Do it in different views so they have an idea. Okay, you can do like a little rendering thing for them as well. You can put in a table, so it gives you all that information. And of course, as you can see here, you've got all that information with your company logo, all of your detailing. And you can put in measurements as well. You can actually add that into your technical drawing as well. Okay. And now I'm going to quickly just show you once again. Let's go to see everything all together. That's looking nice. Yes, I'm happy with that. If you want to have more spacing between your stones, you can always add a bit more spacing. And of course, when you do that, once again, because I've created so many links, everything will update for you. Everything will modify and recompute. Okay, so that means even the cutters will modify and recompute for you. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we are going to just show you once again the history of it. So the halo with our cutters, so our top halo was created with a stone. Okay, and then it was also with the outer path, which was our modify curve. And then with our profile for our halo. So that was the basis of our halo. Very, very important you label so that you can easily find things and modify things again. Okay, and then of course we created the holes with multi-cutters. Okay, so we did a Boolean subtraction and that's how we made it lighter. So ultimately we've done the two pieces here that we wanted to do. Okay, you can always render it up and show it to a client, and then they have the possibility of having it as a pendant or as a ring. So like I said, very important. You can build up your own catalog, you can create your own folders and keep adding and making things in there. So yeah, I've made a variety of different things, and you can keep doing that. Now I'm going to quickly just show you the technical drawing. There we go. Wait, the wrong one I've opened up. Oh yeah, technical drawing. And now you can see it's modified, so it's changed it to an oval. So it used to be marquees and now it's an oval. And it's got all our information in there. If we want, we can add one more view, and this time we can add it with an actual material in there as well. Let's do that again. So we're going to add another view, and this time it's going to be in color. And let's change it, rendering mode, to materials, and there we go. Of course, at any point you can mix things around and change them around. Okay? Now I need to show you what our actual PDFs look like. So Halo 1. Just zoom out a bit. So that's Halo 1. What you can do is always just smudge it a little bit so it looks like you've actually sketched it out, and give this to a client so they have an idea what it might look like, your piece, or keep it for yourself, of course. I would think you'd want to keep Halo 2. Oh, let me open that up again. Halo 2. Okay, and there we go. So it's got the full information. It's got your client's name in there. It's got your company logo and everything. Okay. So we're good. Okay. So let's share that again. And I'm going to say, those are the two pieces you can present to your clients. So yes, that's brilliant. The next demo will be done by Maxime.